finally happened. Oda has just revealed that my goat, Monkey Deadbeat Dragon, was in God Valley 38 years ago. Matter of fact, he was the MVP. While all these other gooners were fighting over Shakky, my goat was doing the real work, saving the child of destiny Shanks and eating his god fruit. Also, did I not tell you guys that dragon was coming to Elbaf? Like, did I not say that? And since Loki is in Elbaf right now, telling us about God Valley where dragon was, in a way,
he is in Elbaf right now.
Through Loki's words, you know? I was right.
Stop it. Get some help.
Okay, we cannot be joking around this chapter because 39 years ago, a tragedy occurred in Hachinose. One of the greatest pirates of all time, Don Marlin, was murdered in cold blood.
Who?
I'm talking about the Capone Beige wannabe mafia dude guy in the Roxas crew. Apparently, bro was on guard duty and got slimed out. Who was he guarding? Well, the treasure of Pirate Island, Shakky, as she has just been kidnapped. The criminal even left no trace, a professional rat. And the way this dude Wang Shi is looking, my money is on him. While the rest of the Rocks crew are crying, shaking, wailing with rage, all three of Wang Shi's chins are smiling with glee. The news of the world's most beautiful baddie being kidnapped takes no time to reach the Roger Pirates, as we witness one of the strongest feats in One Piece by the future Pirate King. Bro snaps a newspaper in half using his Conqueror's Haki.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal.
Roger is livid as he blames his rival Rocks for this blunder. It was under his watch that Shakky was taken. If she was on Roger's ship, she would have never been taken. Nobody would have even have laid hands on her. Shakky's kidnapping not only affected the future Pirate King, but the world's economy itself was ground to a halt. Not for a day, but for several weeks. Bro, all these gooners legit went into depression mode over the Huz being kidnapped. Even Rayleigh drops his nonchalant matcha drinking performative act, stressing over his Pookie. For over a year, Shakky's ripoff bar was closed. Man, this affected the world's economy. That is crazy, bro. Luckily, she's fine, okay? She was being held by the Celestials, being prepared as the grand prize for the next Celestial hunt, which was just around the corner, with Garling making his way back to God Valley. His baby mama was delighted to see him again, proving to us that she actually got rizzed up by Garling. I mean, look at Garling's face, like,
Bro, if I was a girl, legs wide open, bro.
She tells Garling about his twin sons and asks if he would be willing to stay on the island with them. However, Garling just says that, nah, this island is about to be toast and he has already secured a worthy bride for himself. Like, he has Amazon Prime, he has one-day shipping, and she is almost there. This is Shanks' mother we're talking about it here, okay? Probably another S-tier baddie. And Garling just said, I don't want to play with you anymore, like that Toy Story meme. This dude Garling is next level villain here. This checks out though, as to Garling, Shanks' mother isn't really a person, just a toy or an object he can throw away whenever he likes, since she is an insect of the lower realms. She and the rest of the people on the ground owe their lives to Imu and the 20 families who are atop Marie-Joie, as they saved them from the ancient kingdom 800 years ago. They have divine right to rule over these people, as you know, they are the superior race of Celestials. You're just a muggle. Even Shakky, after Garling has his fun with her, will be boring to him. This dude Garling is so cold and uncaring that he just kills Shanks and Shamrock's mother right in front of the kids, as she is of no use to him anymore, only a hindrance to his new marriage. Bro is so cold that instantly, with zero hesitation, he starts commanding his troops to begin the preparation for the hunt. Many ships from the world government land on the shores of God Valley. The people think that they might be searching for some vile criminal, which shows us that until now, the non-government affiliated island had no reason to suspect any ill will from the Marines, likely because if Garling didn't find the secret which would make Imu happy, God Valley wouldn't have been the target of this year's hunt. The preparations start with the Marines being told to use tranquilizer rounds for the ones who resist and capture the ones that don't. This is likely because the more rabbits left to kill by the Celestials, the better their games will be. And we know that most of these non-God Knight Celestials are weak-ass bums like Charlos. Even an average citizen of God Valley, if not cuffed and chained, would be a massive threat to these bozos. So the Marines go in, put them to sleep, and chain them up. Then, as I flip the page, my heart, it started to race. That flowing black hair, a storm in its grace, that mark on his arm carved deep like a "38 years ago, Dragon is 17 years old. He isn't a Nepo baby though, being a mere cadet in the Marines. However, unlike these other NPCs who are following commands of their superior officers without question, Dragon has a superpower known as critical thinking. So he questions as to what the goal of this operation even is. Like, the people they are shooting are literal civilians. His lieutenant though says that this is just a training exercise. Dragon, being a new cadet, isn't in a position to ask such questions. Bro is 10 years too young, he said. In fact, he is still in training, which tells us that this is Dragon's first mission, or at least one of his first missions. Now, those of you who have been watching my Dragon Glaze for over 3 years know that Balls Deep prediction was right again about Dragon being a new Marine in God Valley. And the things he witnessed on this island radicalized him against the world government. His father Garp joined the Marines 1 year before Dragon's birth at age 22. With Dragon's mother's origins being shrouded in mystery, there are many in the community who suggest that Dragon's mother may have been a celestial dragon, or at least someone of noble lineage connected to them. That's why he was chosen as a new recruit for the God Valley mission. This idea isn't just based on coincidence though. The very name Dragon stands in defiance to the celestial dragons, almost like a destined irony, making his opposition to their oppressive world order feeling more personal, almost like he is rebelling against the world he was born into. Now, me and Yusuf have our own theories of Dragon being inspired by the Hindu god Vayu, who is the deity of wind and the father of the monkey god Hanuman, which draws parallels between divine rebellion, freedom, and inherited power. Supporting this dragon is a celestial theory, but I have already made a whole big ass video talking about that, so instead let's focus on the Goa kingdom and where Garp is from to better understand why Dragon is here right now in God Valley. It appears to be one of the original 20 kingdoms that founded the world government. This puts Goa on par with places like Dressrosa and Alabasta, both ruled by lineages with ties to the Void Century. It becomes more intriguing when you consider Saint Jalmak, a celestial dragon who went out of his way to personally visit Goa Island, which was highly unusual. So it's not far-fetched to imagine a young Garp in his earlier years falling in love with someone of noble or even celestial origin, perhaps a relative of Jalma. A hockey man like Garp, he needs a celestial baddie who is equipped to handle the hockey D. But since Garp's wife is out of the picture, maybe she is the reason Garp even joined the Marines, like a kidnapping or her and Dragon being held hostage, forcing even Garp to make a deal with the devil. Because remember Dragon's famous line from chapter 1096, a parent's biggest weakness is their child. Now, working to dismantle the system from the inside, that's Garp's goal. However, Dragon doesn't have these burdens. With Garp being in the Marines and his wife a noble, it's very very possible that Dragon didn't spend much time with his father, who was out patrolling the seas. Instead, what he did witness was the first-hand cruelty and corruption embedded within Goa Kingdom's rigid class system. From the lavish lifestyle of the nobles in the high town to the dehumanizing poverty of the Great Terminal, he experienced the world's harsh reality from the very bottom. Garp, despite his distance, returned home occasionally and tried instilling marine values onto his son, just as he would later with Luffy and Ace. But unlike them, Dragon followed his father's path, believing in the hype of the Navy, and enlisted at age 17, which brings us to God Valley. When an elderly man gets hit for simply asking what's happening, Dragon is taken aback, screaming that these are just ordinary people, yet the higher up Marine just tells him to stop questioning it. Dragon's job now is just to follow orders like a dog. This is a hint towards my theorized rivalry between Dragon and Akainu, and Oda choosing to paint Dragon not following orders as one of the earliest depictions of him being a Marine showcases that the two Marines chose two separate paths of justice, because as we all know, they both are 55 years old right now. While Akainu's absolute justice blamed the Rock's pirates for causing the incident at God Valley, Dragon saw the deeper message within the chaos, like bro lived it. Rock's true goal was to destroy the celestial dragons and remake the world. Despite being labeled a criminal, his ideology of freedom resonated with the oppressed. To the Marines and Akainu, Rox was a threat to peace and order. But to Dragon, the question lingered. Who are the real villains after God Valley? Especially since we find out later in the chapter about the real reason Rox came to God Valley. The villains are the world government, who are literally gassing the civilians. Oda shoves Dragon finding the dark truth in our face as he follows a trail of blood into the room where Shanks' dying mother is, alongside a cell with a captured Blackbeard and his mother. Shanks' mother begs Dragon to save her twins and likely reveals the true plans Garling has for this island. Dragon, hearing this, will be completely shell-shocked next chapter. He has been an accessory to this heinous, the G word. At this moment, Shanks' mother will also reveal her special lineage, because there is a bigger reason Shanks is known as the child of destiny, and I don't see Garling giving his seed to a random baddie. Plus, if she was just a random girl, why would Oda choose to hide her face? Dragon will make up his mind, eating one of the fruits at God Valley, which will be the wind fruit of the rain god. He will put Shanks inside the devil fruit prize box to keep the boy safe and hand it over to the Roger pirates, whom he trusts after God Valley. The winds of fate carry the child of destiny to Roger, leading to Shanks saving Dragon's son, the one who will bring dawn to the world. The God Valley incident was the first to show Dragon that the true enemy of the world aren't pirates or marines, but rather the system which enslaved the world and called it peace. While at the same time, Akainu would view this incident as a glorious victory for the justice of the Marines. It further validated his reason for joining this cause, as Rock's the strongest pirate's defeat cemented the Marines' strength. Either way, we cut to the Navy's prison ship, which is bringing in special slave rabbits from Marie Schwa. Inside the ship, a transponder snail starts buzzing as a child hides from a Marine. This is none other than Ginny, who has just sent a rogue transmission about the hunt starting at God Valley. While the old heads have given up hope, Ginny and Eva still have a fire in their hearts. Kuma is also in the other room, smiling that there are still people left who want to fight. The transmission from Ginny is picked up by Big News Morgans, who is a young reporter right now. He has come to the Cypher Pole HQ to ask for money in exchange for this intel about God Valley being forgotten, and he's not gonna report about it. However, he may not print it in the newspaper, but bro has already leaked it to Pirate Island. Why? Well, he is in the news business. The more earth-shattering events that happen in the world, the more papers broke can sell. So pitting the Rocks pirates against God Valley, which will also bring Roger and Garp into the mix, it's a perfect storm for a reporter like Morgan's to profit off of. I'm sure it was after God Valley that the World Economic Journal became the newspaper you had to read to keep up on the world events. In Pirate Island, everyone is relieved that Shakky is still alive. It's been a year since her kidnapping. The Rocks pirates didn't attack Marie-Joie because they likely didn't know where she even was, but now they have a location. God Valley. Hearing this, the Snake Wang Shi is
like, chat, can we really trust this info? This seems kind of fishy, bro.
But no one wants to hear it. There is no doubt because the Marines are in a frenzy. Whitebeard is shocked to have the rumor about the Celestials hunt existing being real, while Big Mom and Kaido want to go to secure some devil fruits, and so the Rocks pirates sail to God Valley. Hearing this, Roger is also running to God Valley, not just after Rocks, but they want to reach the island before Rocks to show Shakky that they care about the Huz more. They want to prove that they are better than Rocks and his crew. Maybe this will cause her to jump ship and join Roger's crew. Even Rayleigh is fired up, alongside Monkey D. Garp, who gets up from his vacation to chase his boyfriend Roger. However, on the way to God Valley, the Rocks pirates ship is intercepted by the giant ship from Elbaf. Harold has come, surveilled by the world government like a wild animal to fulfill his promise to the Gorosei, that if he can kill his friend Roxy Xebec in exchange, Elbaf's entry into the world government will be secured. Seeing his friend after 2 years, Rocks spits some words that cut deep about how Harold may be the king of the giants, but he is underestimating the Rocks pirates. This panel, my dude Rocks has 3 future Yonkos right behind him. This is pure aura, bro. This is insane. Kaido, Big Mom, and Whitebeard. Holy shit. But even with 3 Yonkos on his crew, and even Shakky and all the other big shots, like a crew of over 20 billion, Rocks has mad respect for Harold and the giants. He says that the world government would love it if they tore each other apart. Harold is nothing but a madman that's clinging onto his deluded version of progress. Violence and fighting is the only language oppressors like Imu understand. However, before having a fight, Rocks wants to have a final chat with his friend. With sake cups in hand, this is reminiscent of Roger and Whitebeard's final drinking session, and the conversation also feels very similar, as Rocks says that his real name isn't Rocks D. Xebec, but Davy D. Xebec. Rocks hasn't even told this to his own crew, not even Whitebeard, because for over 800 years, Imu has been trying to erase the Davy name. This name poses more threat to the world government than even the descendants of D, as its lineage is tied to Davy D. Jones. 2 years ago, Rocks had a kid named Davy D. Teach, and since Dragon told us that a parent's weakness is their child, he's the GOAT, Rocks sent his family back to his hometown where they would be taken care of by the Davy clan, and this hometown is named God Valley. So this whole time, Rocks was using Shakky as a cover to go and save his family from the Celestial Hunt. With the Davy family being from God Valley, I wonder if Shanks' mother is also from the Davy clan. That's why her son is so special. In fact, what if she leaked the secret of God Valley to Garling, considering she is madly in love with him? Revealing this backstory, Rocks asks Harold once again to join and help dismantle the Celestials. However, Harold is stubborn as ever. He chooses to fight, but lets Rocks win while showing the Navy that he tried. Back in God Valley, Shakky is revealed as the grand prize. The winner can decide to take her as a prize or a slave. While Garling wants to marry her, Saint Diddy, in line with his character, wants to keep her as a slave. How else would bro use up all the baby oil in Marie-Joie, right? We also find out that Gunko is present there as part of the Maimara family, with her being touted as one of the favorites to win this year. We know from Rocks' invasion of the Flower Room that Gunko is one of Imu's closest soldiers and has been serving Imu for at least 18 years. It's possible that using Gunko Gunko, Emu will also appear in God Valley during the Great Battle. Maybe Emu through Gunko is the one to kill Xebec. She is special, as like she looks exactly how she looked over 56 years ago, currently in the present at Elbaf, while you have people like Saint Summers who look considerably aged, but Garling, who is the commander of the Gods Knights, hasn't gotten that. Now, there's way more to dissect on this chapter, especially about Davy Jones, so Yusuf is making a separate video on this chapter this week, probably in a few days, where he's gonna cover Rox and Harold's conversation, plus Blackbeard's story, so stay tuned for that and watch this video on all the different gods of One Piece instead. Monkey Debbie Dragon is an Elbaf, he's gonna show up for real, watch.